This week, America's finest electric car manufacturer delivers its newest product in a head-to-head deathmatch comparo against this Morgan three-wheeler, which is England's finest export and obviously the world's greatest car. The matchup, this, the electric Moke. Now, the Moke's use case is very specific. In the Caribbean, Monaco, you're transporting a bunch of friends from the nightclub back to your secret cheating compound where your mistress is waiting. Other than that, I don't know what the use case is, which is why a specific use case makes it so much easier to build the perfect electric car. Let's talk about patriotism. The Moke, according to the manufacturer, is manufactured in America, American parts, American made, America, everything. But I don't know, because although I like a car that's made in America, I can't help but notice these tires. Where are these tires from, Todd?
America.
Florida?
America.
Really? Well, I've never heard of Junyu, but I imagine that's the best tire for a Moke. I don't know. I can't say. The Morgan, on the other hand, although they claim they're made in England, they use an American motor. So I can't believe my mind cannot wrap around this, but the Moke is a more honest vehicle than the Morgan. I can't just turn off the camera. Let's talk about the specs, although nobody cares. 0 to 60 is, manufacturer wouldn't tell me, so the Morgan wins. 0 to 30, he wouldn't tell me, but actually the Moke is probably about even, neck and neck with the Morgan, because at any speed, it's quite cool. The Morgan's range is hard to tell because the gas gauge doesn't work, but I think it's about 150 to 200 miles, and you can go to any gas station. Unfortunately, in New York, there are only 1 or 2 gas stations south of 86th Street, so in that sense, the Morgan actually is junk. The Moke solves all those problems. It has a range of 40 miles, which is sufficient to get from here to a club, meet women, and bring them back. And you can plug it into any wall outlet, which is great because it has a 6-foot power cable, and you don't need to go to a supercharger network like Tesla's, which is junk. So I think the Moke actually might win this one. Let's talk about wheels, tires, and suspension. The Morgan has a very uncomfortable suspension and these beautiful wire spoke wheels and these tires that are totally unsafe. And the Morgan logo on the brakes. I can't say it's good, it's junk, but you're in a Morgan, so you pretty much have to win. Except that the Moke has an incredible engineering set of upgrades. You've got these 14-inch tires, which are vastly superior to the crap put on the gas Mokes, which would make the Moke better than the old version. I can't tell if it's safe, but the maximum safe operating speed is allegedly 35, but the manufacturer, call it 25, which means the Moke's actual wheels and tires exceed its performance envelope. Well, because the maximum safe operating speed of the vehicle is 25, the brakes don't matter. And also because it's electric, you can't hear it, which means it's completely dangerous, except for the screams of the occupants as you careen around corners in lower Manhattan, which means the Moke is actually quite safe. I think that the passengers' wails of fear are probably safer as a general element than the Morgan's exhaust, which is just cool and probably masks the true danger of driving it. The Moke might actually win this one. Let's talk about headlights. These appear to be mounted in the correct location, and are these LEDs or bulbs, right? Bulbs, so they're junk, and you can put tape on them, which actually is cool because that makes it look more vintage, but it already looks vintage. This is, something, I really like it. I want to say it's junk, but it's not. I call this even with the Morgan. It's cool. The car actually has a bumper, even though it's legally a low-speed vehicle and not supposed to go anywhere where you might go over 35 miles an hour. But the fact that it has a bumper is great because when you impact something, because it's silent and no one can hear you coming, you are protected. Whereas the Morgan, which is junk, if anything strikes the front, it will hit the engine, which is bad. So technically the Moke wins, but the Morgan is cooler, so the Morgan's better. One of the best things about the Morgan is that when it breaks down, which it often does, the engine is exposed and you can service it. So anything that has a hood is junk and sucks. But the Moke, because it's electric, actually has some benefits which I'm reluctant to share, but I will. You open the hood, and what's going on here? No engine, because the electric motors are mounted below and are highly reliable, which is a function of all electric cars. So here you have the batteries, which will require virtually no service, if ever, and therefore it's better, which sucks because I want to say it's junk, but it's not, because electric cars make sense and they're the future. Say this thing is junk, but it has so many features that actually work. Let's talk about the windshield. It has one, and it's made of, I guess, shatterproof glass, and it's upright. It protects you from the wind, and it looks pretty solid, and it's surrounded by this thing so you can grab it without breaking it. It's actually not junk, and the Morgan's is, and that sucks because the Morgan is better, obviously, but not really. Obviously, the mirrors are junk, but they're also really great because if you hit something, they break off, you can fix it at Home Depot, whereas the Morgan mirrors will cost you $1,000 to replace. Let's talk about visibility. In theory, the Moke is great because everyone can see you, but the vehicle comes in camouflage. What the fuck is that? It's completely dangerous because it's electric. No one can hear you, and if no one can see you, it's unsafe. So the Moke is junk, the Morgan wins. The Morgan is incredibly unsafe, and we know it's junk, but you're in a Morgan, and I love it. The Moke actually, unbelievably, has, although it looks like junk, it actually has an incredible safety feature. The roll cage actually performs, it does its job because it's mounted above the height of the heads of the occupants, which I can't believe the Moke might actually win that one too. It's still junk though. The electric Moke has a lot of problems. It's too good. Mokes are famous for being terrible, but this one has so many decent features. I want to say that it's junk, but the spare tire is actually mounted in a location where it's easily accessible and does not require special tools, unlike the Morgan, which really is junk. I want to dislike this, but it's actually okay. Now, although the storage appears to be junk, it is vastly superior to that in the Morgan. You have this unit which comes with all kinds of amazing accessories. Every Moke, I hope, comes with all these great hats for all the women you'll pick up on the beach. It comes with a charging cable. I guess that's from Home Depot, and a cleaning kit. And then look, you can pretend that you're the dealer because this is in the trunk. It's great. I absolutely love it. And it has a lock, unlike the Morgan storage. But the best thing about it is that it comes with a sign, so if you want to sell it, you can just put it here and then write your number on it and sell it. It's an amazing feature because with the Morgan, even if you had a sign, no one would want to buy it because it actually is junk. So the Moke actually kind of might win this one. This vehicle has the finest ingress and egress of any car I've ever tested in any price range ever. How many exotics offer seating for four? None. They're all junk. And the Moke, here it is, unbelievable, for four. You just side to side. Oh, the driver passed out. You can just go like this, and now you're in the front, and you're driving. It's just the comfort. It's amazing. A true exotic. And then you have this, and then look, while you're driving, you could even climb around while you're driving and get in the back again, and totally safe. What other car can you do that in? Not a Range Rover. That's junk. The interior of the Moke is fascinating. So you've got is this a Momo steering wheel? Or is this like a Microsoft gaming wheel? It's really great because I've used it so much while playing Forza Motorsport. You have gauges which tell you everything you need to know. None of that junk digital crap gauges you see in other cars. All the controls are obvious. I don't even need to explain them. And these two optional accessory buttons for optional accessories. It has a stereo, but by far the best feature is something you won't find even in a Bugatti. This, for attaching your dog's leash. The thoughtfulness that went into this, nothing from Italy or England comes close. And check out this beautiful shifter, which does exactly what it's supposed to. Drive, neutral, and reverse. And only a single cup holder for your passenger so the driver can remain sober and get from the beach to the beach house. And check out these seats, which are quite comfortable. They look like they're made of wood, but they're actually made of plastic. Perfect because you can hose out the interior of the car without damaging your leather. It offers all of the upsides of Range Rover interior without any of the downsides of Range Rover maintenance. It's not junk. And then you have the greatest feature of the car. You have the on-off control, which is obvious. It's colored in red. You can't miss it. And what are those idiots in Germany and Japan and Detroit thinking? This is how start-stop control should work. In theory, the electric Moke should be the worst car of all time and easily defeated by the Morgan three-wheeler, which is the greatest. But it isn't, because it, for its use case, has so many great features that I've had a hard time really breaking it down. So we're going to have to dismantle, assault, and annihilate this vehicle the only way I know how, by driving it. But let me say this, like the Morgan, it doesn't matter how it drives, because it is better in almost every way than any vehicle anyone who's ever spent time in Monaco or the Caribbean or in any vacation resort, because it costs how much? $15,975. So you have Bugatti Veyron Pull with women and men if you like. You have convenience. You have a green vehicle for a fraction of the price of that junk manufactured in Fremont, also known as Tesla. Let's go drive it.
Roy, you thought we were junk? This is the best made Moke in America. This car has all American parts, from the glass to the tires to the seat belts. Most importantly, all our batteries are American. 2-year warranty, bumper to bumper. When I look at the Morgan, we don't have a warranty. The car is extremely low to the ground. To me, it's completely unsafe.
Wait, are you saying my Morgan is junk?
I'm saying it's a lovely car. The Brits did a great job, but I think the Americans won by coming up with the greatest electric vehicle of our time. Roy, it's clear and obvious to me. The winner is the Moke.
Ladies, what do you think of this car? It's pretty cool, right? That makes no sense, because what other car can you buy for $16,000 that has that?
Right.
All right, we're done.
How's it feel? It's fun, right?
It doesn't matter. I mean, the truth is that the handling, it doesn't matter. The fact that the steering wheel is 90 degrees off center while going straight doesn't matter. Nobody cares. This is a vehicle you could do your own show called Moke Versus, where you compare the Moke to everything. The brakes are a little spongy, but again, we're not going fast enough for that to matter. The steering. I mean, look at this. It's fine. Listen to, actually, you can hear the electric motors. It's cool. If I'd known how good it was going to be, I never would have allowed this car on the show, because this show thrives on friction and failure. And that, which should be the name of the Morgan magazine, Friction and Failure. The Moke absolutely defeats the Morgan three-wheeler for exotic car value, fun to drive, visibility, reliability. It has everything but the one thing people like me want, which is going to go away. This vestigial, childish need for noise and smoke and smells. But that's the past. And the Moke is a little piece of the exotic car future. And as soon as the owner of the vehicle gets out of the car, I'm going to tell you the truth. This thing fucking sucks. Sucks.